Like it. So there you go. For me, about chest down to the ground is about a perfect height. Just make a loop, take the tail end, wrap it around like the little bunny rabbit, right? And then stab it in the eye. Kill that rabbit. Pull that through. Then you have a figure eight. Figure eight. Okay. Now, to tie in, you take your end under your first loop, up through your harness. And then it's really simple after that. You just follow the knot that you already have, okay? So here's the knot. Try and twist that around for you. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to follow this rope right here, all the way through until I'm going back out. What you want to do is make sure that if you go on the inside of the two ropes, when you're following, that you always stay on the same side. You don't want crossing the rope. It'll tangle up. It won't be a good knot. Well, I guess it won't really tangle up, but you get a much better knot, and that's what you want. Loop it through, just keep following, following, come around until you come back out. Now what do I have? Here's the rope end, here's the tail end. Okay, going out. This is going off. The rope end's going off to your buddies. Tail end, you're just going to finish off with you. Okay, this is your figure eight. I like to push it, pull it, and make it tighter, so you know you got a good solid knot. Now, what a lot of people like to do is just take this, back down through the rope, and get rid of the slack. That's great. Me personally, I like to do a fisherman's knot. Fisherman knot is going to be hard to show on a camera, but essentially, you get your two ropes. Okay. Here's the tail. Here's the lead. You're going to cross it. Okay, so crossing like an X, just like that. I'm going to come down and around and come back across. Now you've got a loop, and it crosses back over on top of the other rope. You see that? Okay. I'm going to wrap it around and come back over in between these two ropes. It's probably a very, very bad explanation. Anyway, go between those two ropes, and then you pull it out through that loop, that first loop that you made. There we go. Should always look like there's two wraps around it. See, two on both sides. And then you have this little tiny end just hanging out. So, this is pretty good. You have your figure eight on the bite, it's close down to your harness, and you have your tie-off loop. If either of these loops are up in this area or up in your face, that's no good. You want to fix that. Retie it, tie them back down here towards your harness. Now, we're going to look like Rambo. Ready? Okay. You're all tied in. Check. Now we're going to do the coils around the body so we can look like Rambo. Because that's the whole point, right? Why would we be doing this if we couldn't look like Rambo? This is how I've seen people do it, so this method works for me. Grab it, slack, hook elbow, if I can do it right, and just bring it around. Grab, slack, elbow, bring it around and grab. Make sure you count too. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're getting close. Look how we got the little shoulder harness here. We're all tied in. We're halfway to Rambo, okay? All right, so we're all tied in, and we've got our coils all set up. This last loop right here, this is going to be your 10th coil. You should have 10 coils in this bunch right here. Okay? Next thing you need to do is tie it off. So what we're going to do is we're going to form a loop. We're going to bring it down. We're going to gather up. Make sure you grab all the loops here, including your tie off. Okay, so you're going to come underneath all of them and up through here. Got it? See that? Cinching up right there. That's what you want. When you come over, you want to make sure you have the right amount of slack, okay? So when you come down, you don't want the end of your loop to be too low. You want it to come out about right here. So when you come down, you're just going to do an overhand knot, making sure that you take up the lead. Just like that, very simple. Then go ahead and you're going to clip that in to a carabiner. I've got a screw gate carabiner right here over my harness, and that's what you want to use. So you just take your screw gate carabiner, you're going to make sure you take out both loops, top loop and your bottom loop. Okay, and that's how you secure that on your harness. And you'll take this loop that you just made, clip it in there, bring it up, and that should be nice and snug. Not really tight, but nice and snug. Cinch that up, and if you fall, that's where it's going to pull on you. Got it? Pretty simple stuff. Right now, if you fell, this is great because the rope going out to your friends who are arresting you, it's going to pull on your harness and you're going to remain upright because it's up here up on your chest, it's above your center of gravity. That's great. Now, if your buddy falls, it's going to be harder to stop them because you're outside of your center of gravity. What we want to do is pull this rope and secure it lower so it's more towards your center of gravity, which is about your waist height. Alright, so how we're going to do that is with the pros. Take this cord right here. Okay? So what we'll do is I like to tie a hero prusik for this circumstance. Set it up like this with the knot right here so that doesn't get in your way when you're trying to do your loops. You go through on the inside of the rest of the rope, pull these ends in so it's nice and neat and uniform. So every time I loop through, I'm going to fix those up so that I don't get it all tangled up. I always go at least 3 times. So there's twice. There's 3 times. And this wrap, I'm just going to bring it home. Go through one more time. Instead of wrapping around, I'm just going to pull up on it, and it's against that knot right there. So the knot's out of the way. You got your prusik around the rope, and you got your tail. And all you need to do is find your carabiner that you've already tied in with, open that up, click it in there. Okay. Looks like I needed to go one more wrap. Got too much slack here. I've got a much shorter tail. Take that down, clip it in. There. You push that down a little bit because it'll slide on your rope, right? Gosh, this is hard to show on a freaking camera, but there you go. See? Slides nice and easy. You push it out, but when you put some force behind it, it's going to grab really tight. This rope isn't going anywhere. So now, may not look like much, but now your center of gravity is right here, or excuse me, where you're pulling from is this much closer to your center of gravity than here, and it makes a difference. If you need to get out of it, you can pull that out and it'll go up, or you can just simply cut the prusik off. It's cheap cord. It's like 33 cents a foot. You can spare some. And now, we are Rambo.